Hello, it's Joel, and welcome to my video review for Battlefield 1. Just sort of ad-libbing some of my feelings, thoughts about what's good and what is bad about the overall experience that EA and DICE gave us with this beta. Obviously, there was only one map and two modes that were previewed in this, and there is going to be issues that need to be resolved, and that's the whole purpose of the beta. So I don't want to be overly negative about things. Battlefield, in its essence, is a very ambitious game, so there's always going to be problems. I mean, there are still problems with earlier titles that need to be addressed, and I don't know if they ever will be. There was obviously a lot of controversy over the server outages. I think there was an attack on the actual servers, and you know, this is kind of be seen as a blessing in disguise for EA and DICE, in that they need to be able to be prepared for these attacks, and they also need to be prepared for the amount of people that are going to be playing this game come launch time. So I think that's a good thing. It's not something that annoyed me overly too much. And also, this game has to appeal to the hardcore fans of Battlefield 1. It has to be made accessible for the new fans, for a new market, and it's also trying to make a game that is an authentic portrayal of World War One, which that isn't an easy task at all. And this beta is obviously to try and draw the finest line between all of these things. Graphics, I want to just talk about firstly, because get those out of the way. I think this is, when I talk about the immersion, the World War One feeling, they have nailed it right on the head of the nail with the hammer, because it looks so much better than 4. I mean, I went back to play 4, and I was like, whoa, they really have upped their game, and it obviously it's running on the upgraded version of Frostbite 3 that they used with Battlefront, because it looks very, very similar. The lighting is amazing, the environments are very detailed, models are good, and the destruction is just fantastic. I think it looks so good. The impacts of rockets when they hit the ground look amazing. The crumbling buildings look very, very good. The dynamic weather effects are very good, and that obviously helps change the gameplay itself, and helps one map become so much more than it would be if it was just a static thing. And it is important. You need this level of immersion in today's games. It really helps draw people in. Another aspect is obviously sound. DICE, fair play to you are actually one of the best sound designers in the game business. Everything sounds so authentic. Bullets, the rockets, the way that they connect and impact things is so good, and just the overall effect of it's 32v32, so you're hearing all of these sounds all around you, airplanes flying overhead, bullets, things imploding, exploding, and it's just it adds and makes this very dynamic experience to it, and it just helps the gameplay. You can hear soldiers running near you, whether it's your enemies, your friends, and you can hear them talking. The fact that the voice acting is authentic. They, in this one, you obviously had the British soldiers, and you had the Ottoman Empire, and they're talking in their own language, even when it's, thanking in person. It's very, very immersive again, and this is just, I think I'm, kicking off with the things that are very, very good about this, and that these are essentially what it is. Gameplay, obviously, this is the meat. This is what the controversy has been over, mainly is because Conquest has changed, and I, like a lot of people don't know if it's for the best. The main change is obviously the fact that when you're playing Conquest, deaths don't matter. You kill somebody and it doesn't add to the ticket. Well, we used to call that a ticket bleed, but I don't know if you want to call it a ticket feed, because you're trying to fill a meter up to a certain point. It got changed over the week there, in the sense that it's the first to 300 points. Now the problem obviously now is that these games now last half an hour. I've seen since they changed it. There's no time cap. I think it was 15 minutes before previously, and then the match just ended automatically, and it's half an hour now. And this, I don't know if this is for the best, because I felt like if one team, whether I was on the stronger team or the weaker team, even when the behemoth, the train, came out, it didn't feel like it was making any difference, and it didn't help them really bring the match around or change the dynamic of the match too much. And I felt like, you know, once you get that lead, once you're on the better team, the fact that those kills don't add up is a problem. And I think they need to try it out at least, or bring back classic conquest mode as just another mode. You know, if you want this mode to be your primary thing in the game, then go for it. Make sure it's the first thing that people see in the UI, and that's how you market it and sell it. But at least give classic conquest back to the fans. You know what I mean? You can take the behemoths out. I'm sure these, you know, people can do this. They're very talented designers. They need to do this. Also, just talk about, you know, I had a wee bit of a problem with Objective E. It reminded me, there's a naval map on Battlefield 4 where there's an objective that's too far out, and once you get stuck there and there's no vehicle, you're just sitting there waiting. Also, it's just there's no vehicles, there's no horses deploying there, which I think is a problem. You know, they're not even that good. The horses, they're not that dangerous, so I don't see why you can't have them spawning quite frequently on that spot particularly, because you want to get out of there, and redeploying feels cheap, and just the fact that you can redeploy now without it impacting the score is just, it's really annoying me. I don't like it at all. Also, there was problems with the heavy tank. I thought it was quite overpowered. You could get outnumbered and get taken down quite quickly, but I had one rush match particularly where I killed 30 people or something in one go. I think I'll upload that video separately, obviously. It's just crazy. It's maybe too powerful, and I think there was one gun, or a rocket gun, that wasn't in the beta that couldn't deal with the heavy tank as well as it should be. So maybe that is something we're going to be changed. Also, classes, I think this is just something we have to talk about, is that in larger maps in Battlefield, I think it's always been the case that there's a sense of imbalance. Who wants to play the support class? I don't really ever find the support class that attractive unless it's in infantry based maps. You know, also the medic class or whatever, I can't remember what it's called now, it seems kind of useless. I rarely got revived on the larger map, because you want to play assault or you want to play recon. I think were primarily what people were going for. And I gravitated more towards assault, obviously, but I thought that the recon was very good. The snipers, I actually enjoy the snipers more than the modern snipers in Battlefield 4, which I thought was strange. And I think that they're making it a lot more accessible. Also, apart from that, there was a few glitches. I think we found vehicles, you drive in them, they just disappear. Vehicles toppling over. Impact collision detection with vehicles just exploding when they touch a rock out of like absolutely nowhere, and that's problems I still have with Battlefield 4. These are serious things that need to be resolved before launch. I hope they can resolve them, and I know I respect how complicated this game is. Battlefield is inherently complicated. It's very ambitious, and you know, it's just something I'm going to keep on reframing back to. I appreciate the difficulties involved in making a game like this. Lastly, you know, I just want to talk about obviously the potential of this. This is a product, and they want this product to be long lasting, and avoid what happened to Battlefield 4, which had major launch issues. If they can address this balancing issues as much as possible between this point and release date in October, then you're gonna have the largest amount of people sticking with the game and keeping that player base strong. We need a large mix of vanilla maps, with you know, infantry and vehicle based ones need to be in this game. It's so important. You know fine rightly for EA and DICE that the vanilla maps are the most important thing in this game, because you can see what happened with Star Wars Battlefront there when they tried to get the season pass to try to shoehorn that in, and it didn't work out for them. Nobody wanted it, and they lost so many players because of that. Premium is an issue. I understand why premium is a separate thing. These maps are very ambitious. I'm sure it costs a lot of money, but the fact is the main player base are going to stick to the maps, so you need to have a lot of them at launch. And I appreciate that it's coming with a campaign as well, but this is very necessary. Overall, you know, I did have a lot of fun with this, even though it was just one map and two modes. This feels so authentic. It's like there hasn't been an experience or a portrayal of World War One or these, the huge global wars like this before. If we get a smooth launch, servers are up, there is a good amount of maps, as I've mentioned there before, and this package should more than warrant this price tag, and that's what I think we want as players and as fans. And I hope DICE, EA, can do this game justice, because it needs it. I want more people playing Battlefield, because it is one of the funnest shooters on the market. It is so strong, it has such a unique selling point to it as well. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my video for my sort of beta impressions of Battlefield 1 there. If you'd like to put a thumbs up, if you didn't, thumbs down, maybe leave a comment, subscribe, whatever. I've been Joel, and thank you very much for listening.